I never owned designer until I bought my house. And so this is why I agree with Dr. Heavenly.
Pocketbooks when we at our BravoCon right now and still renting your house. Who does that? Who does that? Dr. Heavenly University, please join today.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakup Finance. Today I'm here to talk about buying designer before renting. I'm honestly here to have a conversation about Dr. Heavenly's comment on Toya buying her meds before buying a house. Now, these are women that make a lot of money. They are on the reality show Married to Medicine. They live in Atlanta from what I know, and they've all have been homeowners at some point. So it's not like Toya has never been a homeowner. But I think Dr. Heavenly's point is very loud and clear, and I think it's a conversation for me, even though these women make a lot more money than me. And I want to emphasize that now that I am a homeowner, and I do see how it's silly. So to start, I grew up very poor. I don't like to get into the details, but just think of the poorest of the poor in Brooklyn, New York, right? And growing up, I noticed that a lot of kids would just have a lot more than me. Like, they would have the designer, they would have the sneakers, they would have the Jordans as soon as they came out, and I just didn't have that. A lot of kids would brag about their parents not paying electricity. Meanwhile, my mom is like, turn them lights off, right? So I just had a different experience than a lot of people. I never owned designer until I bought my house. And so this is why I agree with Dr. Heavenly. Now, I will say that in high school, when I had like a little job at Jamba Juice, I did buy one pair of like Balenciagas just to show people that I had the money, but it killed me to buy them sneakers. Like, it was like $500. It was like $500 sneakers that I really couldn't afford to have. And then how about trying to get the shoelaces white? I bleached them, put them on the shoe while it was still wet, and ended up bleaching the whole shoe, ruining the $500 thing that I bought. So technically I bought designer before owning my house, but that was when I was a little girl. I don't really count those years. I think as a teenager, buy what you want. But as a young Black teenager, those that are watching, be very careful, because society doesn't want Black people to win. And this is why I'm here to just give you all the truth. You don't want to buy designer where, number one, the people who make these brands don't care about you. As a Black person, they don't care about your struggles. They just want you to buy their stuff. So why spend your last dollar buying their stuff when you can be stacking money away for your later days? So while I won't judge a teenager for buying designer before owning, I do feel like there are a lot of Black teenagers who are making a conscious effort to be wealthy, just looking at the trends and stuff. And I feel like I'm not going to judge a teenager for using their McDonald's job money to buy designer, but I want you to do better. Fast forwarding into adulthood, I went through my entire 20s not owning any designer, like not having one bag. My mom bought herself some designer bags, and my first designer bag as an adult was the one I took from my mom. She bought herself a Gucci bag, and it's like the traditional Gucci bag, the jean kind of texture. And I took it from her. I was like, oh, you don't wear it like that, let me have it. And that was 2021. I took that bag from her. My grandmother also had a Louis bag that was like vintage, and she never went anywhere. So I took that from her as well. It wasn't until was it last year or this year? This year, 2023, I bought my first designer bag as an adult. I went to buy a red Gucci bag, which is the picture that you see. And Dr. Heavenly's comment on buying designer without owning, before she said it, that's what I thought when I bought that bag. It hit me that I had no business spending my money on designer or anything expensive that I didn't need without owning. You have no business making these white people richer with their designer stuff without owning. And yes, ownership may be years away, and does that mean you buy cheap stuff? Absolutely no. But what that does mean is that you sacrifice and you buy quality items that are affordable and within your budget. that is the lifestyle of living within your means. You never want to live above your means. You never want to buy things you can afford. It's silly. It doesn't make sense, even for the rich. You never want to do stuff like that. It doesn't make sense. It is stupid. And I 100% agree with Dr. Heavenly, where yes, Toya has been a homeowner in the past, but she's not right now. She sold her properties. She profited. I think I watched that show a lot. She profited a lot of money from selling her real estate that she did own in the past with her husband. A lot of money. But does that mean buy designer? No, that doesn't mean buy designer. And she already has a plethora of designer. So why go out and buy a new bag when you're renting? It doesn't make sense. So I just want to use this video to echo what Dr. Heavenly said. As a woman who is very successful and owns her stuff and has multiple business ventures, guys, girls, listen to her. Stay brilliant. You never want to be the person that has a collection and some goddamn 2-bedroom apartment. It don't make sense. Your assets being clothing is not a flex. And I think we have to move away from flex culture. I think it's interesting because the model minorities are posting a lot of YouTube videos about how they don't buy designer anymore. And I hate to compare black people to others, but black people, our net worth as a collective is determined to be 0 by 2053. And so we need to increase our assets and decrease our liabilities. And designer bags are not appreciating assets for the most part. It doesn't make sense to start your collection in your apartment. If you're into designer bags, and I will say this as well, I'm not into designer bags. I'm really not into designer stuff because I grew up poor. And I feel like when you're that girl, you don't need things to validate who you are, how you look. I could walk outside right now and get the ultimate attention. I can go to a fashion show, throw on some clothes with the same hair and makeup and look like that girl. So I don't need designer to feel better or anything like that. And I do feel like a lot of our people, especially those who come from enslavement, who are generations of enslavement in their history, like myself, buying nice things is a part of our culture, and I do recognize that. And I don't want black people to ever be ashamed of that. We send our kids out looking nice. We always look nice. Don't stop doing that. But you don't have to live outside of your means to do that. So that is my rant for today. End of the story. It don't make sense. Again, I'm just gonna emphasize, if you are never able to buy, which is, I don't think is something you should ever even say. Because if I was able to buy, you're able to buy. There's tens and thousands of people who make 10 times more money than me. They don't live in a city like myself. You can buy. It's about you being disciplined. But if you are never able to buy and you're a renter and you're stuck in renting for whatever reason, and you cop a designer bag and multiple and you have a collection, it's stupid. That's how I'm gonna end my video. It's stupid, it's dumb. That's that. Follow Brain Girl Finance. Make sure you get the budgeting planner here, and also head over to the Brain Girl Finance website and get the budgeting sheet if you want to do double. But I do double. I use the book and the sheet. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe and click that like button.